So today I just wanted to take a quick look at the 1976 film Mansion of the Doomed. This is a film that I had never really heard of. I love watching things that are new to me. I enjoy discovering new and different film. And for me, the main appeal in watching this was Lance Henriksen. Obviously, if you're familiar with him from Pumpkinhead or Millennium, you know exactly who I'm talking about. And for me, that was the interest in wanting to watch this film. So right off the bat, I'm going to say if you are a Lance Henriksen enthusiast and if you haven't seen this film yet, don't. It is not that great, but if you're a fan, go for it. But if you want a quality film, a good story, this is not it. If you're looking for a time killer film, maybe a movie that you can laugh and make fun of, go for it. Totally the film. So this film has several alternate titles, also known as The Terror of Dr. Cheney, Massacre Mansion, Eyes of Dr. Cheney, and House of Blood. So why on earth this film needs so many alternate titles? I don't know, maybe it just ups their cool factor, but I can tell you that during the Video Nasties era, this was a film that had been seized. It really isn't all that grisly or gruesome at all, to tell the truth, and it is filled with tons of plot holes. It is a bit ridiculous at times. We have this film which basically features a brilliant surgeon. He is filled with guilt because one day he causes or gets into a car accident, and this causes the blinding of his daughter. So in order to make up for that, he makes it a point to try and help her regain her sight. So I'm not up on medical advancements, so I do not know if eye transplants were a thing at the time. But I can tell you that he does make it a point to go out of his way to abduct people so that he can harvest their eyes. And nowhere in the film do you actually see that he takes the time to determine compatibility between the organ transplant for his daughter. You never see any wait time between surgeries. So once his daughter rejects those donors' eyes, they're basically just ripped out and replaced with a new pair from whoever the next victim is. But you never see any heal time between surgeries. They're just constantly being popped in and out, and the eye makeup itself is very exaggerated because you have like these huge clumps of latex or some kind of like a colored burlap that surrounds the eye area. So it's implied that there have been multiple surgeries on the eyes. It definitely does become just very sloppy and gruesome after a while, but you have to take into consideration the skin or the eye tissue itself would not necessarily be affected in that manner. It wouldn't look that exaggerated, but I do understand it's a B film, and they're just kind of trying to give you some sort of a shock value or effect. But you have these people who are having their eyes harvested. Rather than just murdering, getting them out of the way, getting rid of them, for some odd reason, he keeps them alive in his basement. So he's got a bunch of sightless mutants, basically. People that have been rendered freaks, for lack of better terminology here. But he keeps them downstairs in his basement like some kind of effed up petting zoo. Why, I do not know. They no longer serve a purpose unless he's looking to harvest some other organ, but that's not the focus of this film. So he keeps them down there. At some point they do, or one of them does, escape. He corrals it back and shoves it back into the hole. But at one point or another, there's, I believe, even an interview done for an assistant. He tries to steal her eyes as well, if I'm remembering correctly, and she does get away from him. The good doctors, of course, taken to justice by his own deformed creations. But You know, it's definitely a very basic plot. The dialogue is just very flat, it's very boring. They do show us like a few medical films, and they do try to add a bit of the scientific element in here, but for the most part it's a very boring film. I love older film, but for me this just really did not do it. And I'm not picky between, you know, big budget feature and independent or low budget film, but it's more an issue with I guess more the issue of lack of character development, and you also have just really bad dialogue. So I really don't care for these characters. You know, I basically just wait for the next person to get abducted, have their eyes ripped out, on to the next surgery. But this really isn't a worthwhile film, in my opinion. I didn't think it was all that great. If you have seen it, if you enjoy the film, I would love to share thoughts with you. Maybe I just missed or overlooked this film, but I have watched this film 3 times. It still has not grown on me. Obviously, I've waited in between. I didn't watch it consecutively, but you know, I did try to give the film a chance to grow on me, and it just wasn't working. I don't think it ever will. But that is all I have for you guys today, and I will talk to you later.